Hello and welcome to episode 233 of Fergo and the Freak. I'm that bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRP. Joining me as always is the virulent League Freak. You can find on Twitter at League. How you going there, mate?
I'm going very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm
That's
in
good.
good health.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I reckon if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd say I am, I don't know, I'm probably about 68%.
Okay, and to put that in perspective, what were you at yesterday?
Yesterday when we did the live episode on YouTube, I was probably at about 61%.
Okay, so it's a modest increase, but it's an increase in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. The thing that's different today is there's less coughing, it's less frequent, and my voice, I don't know if you can tell my voice is a little bit better. So,
It is sounding better, yes.
yeah, it's not 100% yet, but it's getting there.
It's getting there. Small steps.
Exactly.
Small steps. Now, obviously, it'd be wrong of us to go any further before we mention manscaped.com.
Yeah, it is more than just a website where you can purchase the sort of gear you need to make sure that you can present your genitals in their best look, in their best form. It's a lifestyle. You know, you go to manscaped.com, you pick up all sorts of things to make your life better. Not only for yourself, but for your special person in your life. You know, so you go to manscaped.com and you put in our exclusive code. We chose this code for our listeners, and that code is NRL. You put that in, you get 20% off and free shipping. You get a 30-day money-back guarantee. And let me tell you, you buy anything off the Manscaped website, and you are going to love it. It is the best of the best equipment you could have to manscape your genitals.
Beautiful, mate. You should do ads more often.
I really should. You know what we need? We need more sponsors to go with Manscaped.
We do. And
Yeah.
I mean, God, listen to these last few hundred episodes, but we've had Manscaped on board. I'm sure it's a few hundred. Surely that's a good show reel.
It really is. Like
Get on
Manscaped,
board.
it's been seamless. Us and Manscaped, it's been like a match made in heaven. We've always been about that Manscaped lifestyle, smooth balls, all that sort of stuff. So when Manscaped approached us and said, listen, we want to give all of your listeners 20% off and free shipping, we were like, you know what? We're going to let you. And from there, it's just been fantastic. We know we've had some of our listeners buy from Manscaped. They've been very happy with it. So, I know you and me, we received Manscaped products. I'm Manscaped right now. I'm ready to rock. I might be 68% in terms of my health, but downstairs, I'm 100%.
And that's what matters most.
Exactly.
So yeah, big week in footy. We're looking at the last round of the regular season, round 20.
Yeah.
Pretty much 95% of the players who have played it over the last 19 weeks have been rested this week.
I couldn't believe when I saw the Canberra side, hey?
The Canberra one, the Melbourne one. I think Melbourne's got, someone told me a record, I think this is the first time that a team has fielded a team that has no one in it that played in exactly the same position as they did the week before.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. That's quite a feat.
It's made for a really cool round of footy, though, hey?
Oh, it has. I mean, that Sharks versus Raiders game.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, defense wasn't great in there, but some of the attack we saw from a lot of those young guys, that was pretty damn impressive. And
it really was.
The way Canberra were playing, it was almost like all those young guys were saying, "I'm not doing this just because it's a one-off thing. I'm playing like this because I want to have a crack in the finals." And I think Ricky still got in a situation where he might have a few headaches now.
Yeah, they really took it to the Sharks. The Sharks are done. The Sharks are just completely done. Their season's all but over. Next week, they're as good as a bye in the first round, in the finals. this Sharks team, and they literally rested all of their best players. They really should have smashed the Raiders, and they didn't. They got smashed by them. So that was a really fantastic effort by the Raiders and all their replacement players. You got to remember too, these dudes aren't playing reserve grade games. Like, they're just training during the week.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, and I've been singing these praises for a while now, as regular listeners would know, that Tom Starling looked $1 million out there for the Raiders.
He really did, yeah.
I'd be having him as their top line pick for hooker next year ahead of Hodgson.
Yeah, 100%. He was
so much spark, so fast, so creative, and he was making line breaks as well. And that kick he did back in field for Williams to score, oh man, that's just brilliant. And he had a great game.
Yeah, he really did. Dynamis Louis, he had a fantastic game as well for the Raiders. And just like, there weren't too many players across the park for them that didn't play well or that didn't play above themselves. Like, even Sam Williams, like, he was fantastic. It was really cool to see these young guys get a run against a team who everyone thought they probably were going to lose against, and they put a big score on the Sharks.
Admittedly, the Sharks did rest a handful of players about an hour from kickoff. Which, I must admit, I kind of thought that they would do that.
Yeah.
But I can't see how it's a smart idea to do it just an hour before kickoff.
No. Like, even if they knew it leading up to the game, but I don't know. I think that some teams, there's different needs you have going into the finals. Like, some teams need to go out and smash an opposition. Some teams need to get a grinding win. And I think the Sharks were one of those teams that kind of needed to put their best team out there and to kind of go out and prove to themselves what they can do at their best. And to decide to not do that and then lose against the second string Canberra Raiders team, and then next week you play the first string team, I just think it's been a disaster for them.
Yeah, it's been a very bad move. And I think what as you were getting at, they really needed to come out and say, you know what, we need to beat this team. That way they've got a bit of confidence knowing that they can beat them when they have to play them next week. But instead they came out and it was points galore. Defence was atrocious. You kind of expected the defence to be a little bit poor from the Raiders side, given it's their second string team.
Yep.
But that Sharks defence, man, that was bad in the first half. They were a lot better in the second half. That first half, they were shocking.
Yeah, they really were. And I don't know what you do if you're the Sharks going into next weekend. I like all the psychological stuff you've got to overcome. Like, you just got smashed by their second string side, now you're playing their first string side. And that's not even looking at what you can do with your lineup and what you do on the field. I just think it's already all over for them, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think they kind of knew it would be as well.
Yeah.
What they've got to do is try and find a way to make sure that the game next week is not a flogging. Because I think a lot of those young players they've got there, who are going to be coming through, especially young Brayley and the two young halves they've got on the side, they will benefit from having a competitive showing in the finals.
Yeah.
Even if they lose. If they lose in the games like 18-14 or something like that, that's going to be a pretty good result for the Sharks. But if it go in there and they get dicked for 40-odd points...
yeah, it's not going to be good for them long term.
Yeah. Because we saw getting dicked in the first week of the finals did for the Broncos last year.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I guess it started the rot, really, didn't it?
Yeah, that's where a lot of things were uncovered, I think.
Yeah. You didn't see much of the West Tigers versus Eels game, but it was really, really entertaining.
Yeah, and this is not about me being a sore loser and stuff like that. A lot of people think it is. I like to see games where I know there's going to be a contest. And because the Tigers genuinely had nothing to play for, people will say, oh, it was Benji's and Lawrence's last game. For a lot of players who haven't really played that much with those two guys,
yeah,
it doesn't really mean much to them. But Parramatta also didn't really have much to play for. It was just a training run for them. And they kind of treated it that way from the bits and pieces that I saw.
I don't know. I mean, the Eels, by getting the win, they got themselves up to third place. If they hadn't won the game, they were going to be in fifth place. And they would have had to have played every single weekend of the finals. At least next week, they've got the chance to earn a weekend off.
True.
And they get a second chance, you know.
But I don't think there'd be many people who actually thought that Parramatta were going to go into that match and come out having lost, given that they didn't rest that many players, if any.
Yeah, that's true. But I tell you what, the Tigers, they really competed for most of the game. If their goal kicking had been better, they win this game by about 4 or 6 points. Benji going out after 17 minutes, he got hit in a tackle where he did his MCL and he broke his ribs, and I think he also broke his nose in the one tackle.
Yeah. Oh God, that was the worry for me. Is that I'm confident that Benji can play at any team he wants to next year and be a very positive influence to, the side he goes to.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's done his ACL, I know they were saying his MCL, but if he's done his ACL, I don't think anyone's going near him.
Yeah, you know what? It was his MCL. Did I say ACL, did I?
No, you did say MCL. I hadn't heard the update. I only heard what they were saying during the broadcast, and they were saying it could be his ACL. They were checking for it.
Yeah, it was his MCL at the end.
Oh, that's
because he was walking around after the match. It was interesting post-match. Did you see what happened post-match?
I saw some of the conference afterwards. Not conference, the on-ground presentation thing where Benji just pretty much downplayed anything about him and just made it all about Chris Lawrence.
Yeah, I found it interesting. It felt like Benji Marshall was along the lines of like, this isn't the end of my career. Talk about the other bloke.
He has pretty much made it clear that he has every intention of playing next year.
Mm.
He's not thinking about retiring at all.
No.
And I think this year he's shown that he doesn't have to retire yet.
No.
Like if you look at the careers and the performances of, say, Darius Boyd compared to Benji Marshall right now, you'd say, yeah, Darius Boyd needs to retire.
Yeah.
But Benji Marshall, was it 2 years ago when he first came back to the Tigers?
Mm-hmm.
He made his game evolve so it catered to the way he was now as an older player, and it worked.
Yeah.
And it's kept working. And the only problem he's got in his game, it's the problem he's had since he came into grade, was his defence is not good.
Yeah.
And the only difference between when he came into grade in 2003, 2004, and now is that teams are now a lot smarter at isolating a poor defender and exploiting them than they were when he first came into the competition.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tigers' defence has never been good, and they're not good at stopping that from happening. All year they've had Brooks being isolated and Benji being isolated. It's one on either side, and it's just they've never fixed it.
No,
and they don't know how.
No,
but you buy a few wingers, a few centres, that'll fix it.
just buy all the wingers. That's what
all
need.
The wingers. Yeah,
Jordan Rapana will fix that. I tell you what, in this game, Luciano Leilua was outstanding.
Again.
Harry Grant was outstanding.
Again.
Adam Dewey playing at 5'8" when Benji went out was fantastic. I know you've been saying he'd be an option at 5'8". I didn't see it, but tonight, man, he was fantastic at 5'8".
He's got a much better command of the game at 6 than what Luke Brooks does as well.
Yeah, he really does.
I just wish Dewey could have, full command of the team. So when he gets into there, he could be that commanding, dominant playmaker, and Brooks can run off him the same way Brooks runs off Benji. And I don't think it's beyond Dewey to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I think there's a bigger chance that Dewey can be that halfback more than Brooks can be.
Yeah,
but we saw tonight too that Brooks does have a few tricks. He is a good player. And that's where he's at. He's not great. He's not one of these players who you're going to find is going to be thrown up in Origin contention talk all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going to be, got good, solid 6.5, 7 out of 10 sort of thing. That's sort of going to be his range.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting next year when Mbai's playing 5'8" and Dewey's in the back row.
Well, actually, we won't have a hooker because, so Dewey will probably be at 9.
Hello, Josh Reynolds. He ain't going nowhere.
He'll be fullback.
Well, yeah, there's that opportunity. Play him at fullback.
Oh, no, they'll have to put him on the wing because they're going to sign Josh Adokar to be fullback.
That's right. But then where do you play Jordan Rapana? Centers?
Oh, yeah, he's centre, yeah. Momorovsky will be on the other wing, and Nofaluma will probably have to go into the front row somewhere.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it'll be something like that,
Yeah.
You worry about numbers on players' backs later on. That's irrelevant stuff.
Well, next year when they say you've got to nominate your forwards and the West Tigers go, all of them, it's going to be awkward.
Yeah. Everyone can be a forward. What they do is they say, right, we've got first 17 rounds. I'm just going to pick the 17 players, and every week, everyone's jumping. We'll just move along one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone gets a chance to be a fullback for a week.
Do you reckon Tamo next year's the captain?
I think they'll probably leave it with Mbai.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd prefer Tamo to be captain.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Mbai. I can't even see. This is my problem with Moses Mbai is I don't see how you fit him into the West Tigers side, and that's pretty harsh given the quality of squad they have.
Yeah, well, like I'm watching them tonight, and they competed. They did really well. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't switch any of these players for Mbai. Not one of them.
Yeah, I look at them and go, does bringing Mbai into this side make them better? And the answer is, I wouldn't know. It doesn't seem any different. And to me, that speaks volumes.
Yeah. And imagine if they sat out a player for a whole year on $900,000, just one player.
Well, they've gone it up before with some of those players that Ivan signed.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of Ivan, how good was his team today?
Yeah, they, as I said in a tweet today, they were just taking the piss today, the Panthers.
Yeah, in the first probably, I reckon, half hour, they were throwing the ball about. I think they were doing what you've kind of got to do against a team like the Bulldogs. When you're that much better than them, you've got to kind of chase some points and see what you can do. And then they sort of settled down a bit from that, and then they kicked up a gear again. And when they did that, it was like they started playing some Harlem Globetrotter-style football. Just absolutely outstanding. To do 42 points to nil, like that's what you would want to see against a team like the Panthers in the last round, 15 wins in against the last place Bulldogs, where they had nothing to win. Like you couldn't ask for more than that, I thought, especially when you consider some of the players they had rested as well.
Yeah, you know what? The one thing that I like about Penrith, and this is something that they've done for every single rugby league fan this year, is that they could have gone out there and won that game by, round about 140 odd points.
Mm-hmm.
But they knew we all wanted to see the Broncos come last.
Yeah.
So they just weren't easy on the Dogs to make sure that they sent a message to everybody saying, we can flog teams, but we also want to give people what they want.
Mm-hmm.
They scored plenty of points. They ensured the Broncos come last. Penrith wins. Who's upset about this?
Yeah, and it caps off, I got to say, when they brought out the JJ Giltinan trophy, I got teary, hey. I didn't think I would, but I'm looking at that beautiful old trophy and all the history behind it and stuff, and all these young players who, they were just so excited. And there were so many Panthers fans there. And I started tearing up. It was just amazing. So they finished the season with a 9-0 record at home. They were 9-1 away from home. They've won 15 in a row, I believe it is now. They have the best for and against in the entire competition. They've beaten everyone in the competition. It's like this dream season. They're now the 13th team in the history of the New South Wales Rugby League /ARL/NRL to have won 90% of their games. It is absolutely incredible to have watched them this year.
Absolutely.
Like, I can't believe it.
The thing that got me today more than anything is everyone will gush over their attack because their attack is brilliant. They've got strike everywhere.
Mm.
But watching their defence, I was watching their defence today going, you know what? Every single time a tackle needed to be made, there were two players there.
Yeah.
Like they're always there helping each other out. And that's the difference between a good defence and the West Tigers defence.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm like you. Like, everyone talks about their attack, and I think they get caught into, and it used to happen to Newcastle as well. It's like, oh, their attack is amazing. Their attack is amazing. And they do it with the Panthers as well. Overlooking their defence is ridiculous because it's all built on their defence this year. They get numbers into the tackle, their depth in their forwards, their depth off the bench means that they put in a full 80-minute performance. So it's like, you know, when Tamo comes off the field or Fish Harris comes off the field, you don't get a respite. And, you know, they even showed with their depth. They had Dane Laurie playing at fullback. He was fantastic today. They had Matt Burton. I believe they played him a little bit in the centres. Like, they've got a first-grade team that is legitimate, probably 24-man squad of legitimate first-grade footballers who should all be starting, if not at the Panthers, somewhere. Yeah. Kurt Capewell even, like, he's back into the side. He played fantastic today. It's been one of those seasons. Like, it's like a dream season. And they were saying how it's the first time that a team has gone through with only one loss since 1959 when the Dragons did it. Like, these records that they're hitting are proper all-time historic markers that we've very rarely seen.
Exactly, yeah. It's we never saw teams go through a season with just one loss. Not in the limited tackle era.
No. Which is crazy to think about.
It really is. And to have had, it's basically 300 points difference. It was 299, you know. That's pretty impressive after just 20 games.
Well, how many teams have done 300?
Well, just to show you, it's happened a fair few times, obviously, with longer seasons and stuff. But after 20 games, just to show you how impressive that is. Okay, so the Panthers' points difference was 299 points. So we all know how good that is. Mm-hmm. The Broncos' points difference was minus 356. So the Panthers were as good as the Broncos were bad.
That's one way to put it.
The Broncos have also historically one of the worst teams. I was looking at some stats today, and I was trying to organise a way to find out, you know, how to determine just how bad they are. Mm-hmm. And pretty much every metric I used, they were in the bottom. They were in the 16th worst teams of all time.
Yeah.
Sometimes they were 13th, sometimes they were 14. A lot of times they were 16, but it was always within that worst 16 teams of all time. That's based on win percentage, points difference, and points conceded per game. So they were atrocious.
Yeah, it's been one hell of a season for the Broncos. And then when you see their best player does his ACL in the last game, like, man, what a season from hell.
Yeah. Wouldn't like to be the coach taking over that job.
No, it seems like more and more it's going to be Walters. If I was him, I would not want the job.
No, I'd be saying, you know what? Well, if I was the Broncos, I'd be saying we need to make Paul Green the coach and make Kevy an assistant coach. Because I think I think Kevin Walters needs to do more week in, week out footy coaching stuff before you give him a head coaching role in the NRL.
Yeah.
And if I'm Paul Green, I say there's no chance I'm being coach if you're bringing Craig Bellamy in.
No.
They're just making a mess of this.
They really are. Like, and we talked a little bit about this last night in the live podcast we did on YouTube. You know, if you sign a coach and you need to bring in the director of coaching above them, you've signed the wrong coach.
Exactly right.
You know, and there's no way around that. And as you say, like any coach that is worth anything, they're like, well, I'm not doing this job if you're going to bring Craig Bellamy in, because I don't care how well you're going. Craig Bellamy is always going to be the shadow over your shoulder.
Exactly. It's not. I think that's okay. I can understand a coaching director in a crowded market like Sydney.
Mm.
Okay. When you're in Brisbane, you've got all the junior pathways set up.
Mm.
You've got an entire city. You know, you can. Even the Broncos at the end of this year, they can still attract pretty much any player they want because they've got the money, they've got the resources, they've got a city to themselves. They've still got all of that. So you don't need a coaching director there. I don't care how bad the team's running. Everything's set up already. It's been set up for decades. It's set up because you're the only team there.
Mm.
It's easy to set up when you've got no competition to deal with. So Craig Bellamy, of course, he's going to bloody sign up and do that. He'll do that coaching director's role by fucking SMS.
Mm.
Yes, no, okay. Email me, job done. Put the phone down. I'm going to watch some TV.
I just think, like, how many good clubs have a coaching director? And the answer is none. And then, like, I even look at the Panthers situation where they had Phil Gould, and I know they called him a GM, but he was basically doing that coaching director sort of role.
Yeah.
And you look at the mess he turned that into. Because coaches have egos. Coaches think that they can make everyone do... If they make everyone do what they're supposed to do and what they told them to do, they'll win the premiership every year, you know? And that's why they go out and they bag the NRL and the rules and the referees and stuff, because it can't possibly be the coach's fault for losing games, because he knows what it takes. And so you get someone in there like, you know, Phil Gould, who thinks, well, we need to get Ivan Cleary as the coach. So he gets Ivan Cleary, but then he thinks Ivan looks tired. So he gets Anthony Griffin, because Anthony Griffin's got a fantastic record. But then he sacks him when he's 4 games, you know, he's in the top 4. And then he brings back Ivan. And, of course, the first thing Ivan does is goes to the board and says, hey, get rid of Phil Gould. And so they do that. And remarkably, Penrith has this outstanding season when that happens. So I just don't think any good situation has any sort of coaching director, because at the end of that day too, like, say you were the coaching director right now at the Melbourne Storm, okay? You're the coaching director above Craig Bellamy. At what point does somebody sit you down and say, League Freak, what is it you actually do around here? You know, because everything's working fine. You've got to make it's like the Graham Annesley thing. You've got to justify your job. So you fuck with everything. And that's what ends up happening when you get a coaching director.
That's right. Or you get a coaching director who just sits back and does nothing until he gets asked to do something.
Yeah, but let's leave Mal Meninga out of this, okay?
Which segues nicely into our topic, you know, into the next piece, which is to do with the Gold Coast Titans.
Yes.
They expressed concerns for Tyrone Peachey's welfare as the Integrity Unit investigates allegations of racial abuse directed at Tyrone Peachey by a Knights player in Friday night's win at Seabus Super Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had no idea about this story until you mentioned it to me. Do we know who the players are who have alleged to have said this? Because from what this press conference is saying here,
mm-hmm.
the Knights know who the alleged players are. They've not named them.
It was mentioned to me, a player.
Okay.
I won't say who it is because it's all allegations. But it was mentioned to me, a player. So, it does seem that they know who it was. And I mean, if they know who it was and it's all proven, I got no problems if you get sacked.
Yeah, I'm the same. We can't be dealing with this. We can't have this shit going on in the game anymore.
No, it's like,
And to be honest, we've never really had that much of it, which is a good thing. But that means that when we do come across it, we need to put the foot down on it fucking hard and tell everyone, you know what? We will not stand for this bullshit because it's completely pointless. It's utterly stupid.
yeah, you know what makes me really sad about this? Like, I love watching Tyrone Peachey play. He's one of those players. And by the way, I was watching him in this game against the Knights. I didn't see the whole game, but I saw a lot of it. And I was thinking how he looks like he's dropped a bit of weight. He's looking really good the last few weeks. And I love watching him play because he's got like those footballing instincts, and you can put him anywhere on the field, he's going to do a job for you. And to think that someone's like looked at this dude, and the first thing they've thought about is his skin color. Like, I don't know. It's sad that he's been out there playing footy and doing what he does best, and he's had this shit to deal with. It's like, if they know who it is and they can prove it and they can hear it on the microphones or they've got witnesses or whatever, just sack the fucking idiot. Get rid of him.
Agreed. Speaking of also other foolish play, there's an incident in the game today between the Panthers and the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
With
Luke Thompson.
And his fingers getting in a rather wrong position regarding James Tarmouse's head.
Yeah, and look, it was wide, right out in the open. So a lot of eye gouging, you see, it kind of happens when the players are down on the ground. Well, this happened when Tarmo's standing upright, and Luke Thompson has his hand like wrapped around Tarmo's head, and like whether he meant to or not, his fingers are in Tarmo's eyes. They're grouped together, so it's not like he had his hand splayed out. They're grouped together and they're kind of cupping into his eyes. And he was gouging his eyes whether he meant to or not. Tarmo played it down, especially after the match, but I mean, it's pretty damning. I don't think it's along the lines of some of the incidents we saw last year that were, players seeking out players' eyes. That was disgraceful. But it was still, it's kind of like when, to me, it seemed like a situation where it's like, I didn't mean to hit him in the head, but I hit him in the head. It's like you didn't mean to eye gouge him, but he fucking eye gouged him. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And, I don't know, there's no need. I've said this last year, I'll say it again. There's no need for any rugby league player to have their hands around the face of any rugby league player. You're not going to affect any sort of useful tackle by putting your hand around someone's face.
No.
So there's no need to be going there, accident or not. You shouldn't have your hand there.
Yeah.
If you want to get a player down to the ground, be a proper man. Use your muscles in your arms and tackle them on the biggest part of their body. Don't go for a weak point like eye sockets.
Mm-hmm.
That's just grubby, pathetic behaviour. So, accident or not, I think all eye gouging should be hit with a fucking long suspension, not 5 weeks either. It's got to be double figures.
I agree, like months.
Yeah.
Because it's disgusting, and it was weird because when it happened, Tarmo, like, they didn't get him to the ground. Tarmo sort of stopped and looked around as if to say, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
So
to his credit, he played it down in the end, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't come down to what Tarmo thinks. They've got video evidence of it. They know what's happened.
Yeah.
They should just go straight away and say, you know what, this is not on. And they found with Hudson Young last year, the Raiders player, who was, I think did he have 1 or 2 cases of eye gouging?
Yeah, I think it was 2, yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't put his hands in players' faces now when he tackles.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the result you want. And he's having a fucking great year.
Mm-hmm.
He got that grubby shit out of his game. He's tackling better. He's not going near people's faces. And people look at him going, man, this kid is an absolute bloody freak of an athlete. We're not looking at him going, oh, what if he's going to be a grub again? And it shows you that if you're willing to make the changes to your game to be a cleaner player, people will very quickly forgive you and move on from the mistakes you made in the past. So, yeah, this Pommy, just like the last Pommy that used to be at the Bulldogs. There's a situation here where he can either choose to be an absolute grub, or he can change his technique so he's not raking at people's faces with his fingers when he's in tackles.
You know what? I think next year he'll be back in Super League.
Oh, I think Trent Barrett will pick him every week.
You reckon? I think
Trent Barrett is his saviour.
I think in the off-season he's going to negotiate to go back to England. That's my guess.
I reckon he'll stay for at least a year.
Okay. We'll see what happens, eh?
You know why?
Why?
Because we've got summer coming up.
That's a good point.
The Poms love our summer because they go, wow, it's not raining.
They love getting sunburn, hey?
Oh, they do. And so he's got that coming up. He's going to love it.
Yeah.
And Sydney summers aren't too bad. Unless you get out your way. You can get a few toasty days out there.
Yeah, it gets into the mid-40s a lot in Western Sydney, but yeah, you can have summers in Lakemba. You'll love it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Speaking of being fine, one of your favourite players of all time, Adam Blair, has announced that the game against Manly will be his last in the NRL. He is retiring after 15 seasons in the National Rugby League. He's played for the Storm. He's played for the West Tigers. He's played for the Broncos. He's played for the New Zealand Warriors. Just a servant to the game.
So you said the word played a few times too many there. He played for the Melbourne
years.
I agree. He played for the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done, Adam Blair, on quite a long career.
It's been a very long career sometimes.
Someone told me he was at the West Tigers for 4 years. I went, fuck. He sure was only 4 years, man. I swear it was longer.
I tell you what, some more news. Craig Bellamy has said that he will retire as a head coach at the end of 2021 and he will pursue a part-time role. So that is going to be interesting. It's a lot of speculation. He'll end up at the Broncos, as we talked before, as a director of coaching. But
what chance he upgrades his mobile phone in 2022?
Does he have an old mobile phone? Does he?
He probably does.
Yeah.
He'll upgrade it so he can do all the, you might use one of those tablets or something like that so he can just do all his work from home.
I feel like Craig Bellamy would need to have like a $20 flip phone, because if you look at how angry he gets during the games, I can't imagine he doesn't throw a phone from time to time.
Actually, you'd have one of those Nokia 3310s with the old hard case on it that traders used to have.
Yeah, with the big rubberized one.
Yeah, that fucker would just bounce around everywhere. Just pinging against walls. He'd be bouncing around like a fucking squash ball for 5 minutes.
That'd be great.
Ting, 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 ting. Oh, man.
It's got like the material around it is like those bouncy balls. You know, those super bouncy balls.
That's right. That'd be fantastic. Every time you go and watch him in the dressing shed there or in the coach's box, there's just a whole heap of assistant coaches all ducking for cover because his phone's fucking bouncing around everywhere still.
It's like he threw it 10 minutes ago. The fucking thing's still bouncing.
Hey, do you reckon if he does become coaching director that he'd be sitting at home and just abusing the coach for making the wrong decisions and not the players anymore?
It's a good question. Or imagine if as a coaching director, he's watching the games at home, feet up, super relaxed, like just super, super relaxed. And like when the Broncos are down by 68 points or something, he's like, win next week. Don't worry about it. Just completely different to what he is as a coach.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
You know what?
What he could do is just say, you know what? I will go to every game in 2022 as a coaching director and sit in the coach's box. And you know what? I'll let the cameras come in. I'll put a microphone in there, and you can have Craig Cam in there. I'll give all the media exactly what they want. And they've got this camera on him, and in the first game he's sitting there, and the Broncos, who he's the coaching director of, are just sitting there, and they're getting absolutely dicked. And he's just sitting there saying, I wouldn't mind a beer.
Yeah. He's super calm. It's like, I guess you can't win them all. Yeah. Never mind. It's like, you know what? You got to give it to the opposition team. They're playing really well.
Does anyone want tacos? Tacos. Yeah. Tacos? Could go with some tacos. Hey, Kevy, can you just dip down? Just dip downstairs there to the Macca's and scrap me some nuggets, please. Yeah, sweet and sour sauce. Yeah, it's like,
Kevy, stop fucking crying, right? Just go down and get me some fucking pies, mate.
Yeah. Cheese and bacon. You know, I want to have a proper feed. You know, don't give me the shitty plain ones. I can get those at home. You know, get something fancy. You know, here's $5. You know, grab something for yourself.
Get some sauces too, bruh.
Yeah. Kev, stop crying. I'm doing you a favour. You don't need to cry because you're happy. It's fine, mate. Don't worry about it.
We're all happy to have you here, Kev. Come on. Yeah. Come on now.
We love you, mate. We love you. Okay. But if you keep that shit up, so God help me, I'll fucking kick your ass.
All the former Broncos are pulling for you, mate. Well, apart from Gordon Tallis, but still.
No one listens to him other than Robbie Farah. He's not at this club, so you don't need to worry about it. It's all good, man.
Yeah, I see. Crying. Exactly like that, hey?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. You could just do a stand-up gig.
How would he
Wouldn't
do
that? Be fantastic? You sit there just doing comedy jokes the whole time. And they'd be really, really like black humour.
Yeah.
Culturally insensitive stuff.
Oh, like racist stuff?
Wow. No, not racist stuff, just culturally insensitive. Could be to anyone. Just, you know, the stuff that you know it's sales close to the win, you go, ooh, I don't know.
Yeah. The sort of stuff you wins at.
Or you could just sit there and just shit on Brisbane the whole time. I mean, that's easy to do.
The best joke that's been told in rugby league history, apart from every time the Poms name a coach, is it's got to be Darren Lockyer's joke. Right?
I knew you were going to go there.
It has to be Darren Lockyer's joke. I'm not even going to repeat it.
No. But people can look that up. But that was a good one.
It was. It's still the gold standard of jokes in rugby league.
It really is. It really is. Oh, no. Bellamy could just go up there and just shit on Brisbane the whole time. I think that'd be fantastic.
That's what guys has done this year, eh?
Exactly. So, hey guys, let's go and do something exciting in Brisbane today. They're like what? You go, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
What can you do in Brisbane?
There is not much to do in Brisbane.
We can go and look at the Story Bridge. It's got lights on it.
Like when the big attraction in Brisbane, it's like, well, let's go and see Wally Lewis's statue and then leave.
Yeah. Knowing that Wally Lewis is actually at the venue at the same time all the time anyway. I mean, you can just see the real thing instead of the statue.
Do you know, I visited Brisbane twice, right? Stayed at the Stamford Plaza Hotel. I believe it's on the river. Very nice place. I don't know if it's still there or not, but anyway. And I
stayed there. The river or the hotel?
Hey?
The river or the hotel?
I believe the river's been there for a while.
Yeah. That's where all the sewage goes.
Yeah, the hotel got flooded during. Remember they had those big floods in Brisbane. It got flooded, so I don't know if they changed or whatever. But I used to stay at Stamford Plaza. Stayed there for the Four Nations in the World Cup final, and there was one time I was there for like 2.5 days. I spent $250 on room service, just me.
You would have been the most entertained person in Brisbane City.
I really was. I ate I had so many chocolate milkshakes. Like, I'm talking like, I must have had 10 chocolate milkshakes.
The problem with that is all that sugar means you just stay awake, but you've got to endure more of Brisbane.
Well, I just stayed in a hotel. I was like, this is great. Went and saw they got like a walkway down by the river. I can't remember what it's called. There's a name for it. They call it something.
Yeah,
It's nothing special.
I know of it. Parts of it broke off during the floods.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it was like a pontoon or something like that. It was all like floating down the river.
So if you go to Vanuatu or something, you'll see part of that walkway.
Yeah,
It's up in Vanuatu, and they were like, "Hey, look at this. This looks interesting." And then they went to it, and were like, "No, it's not that interesting, actually."
It's from Brisbane. They
Yeah.
probably put it in a ship and said, "Yeah, can we send this back by Australia Post to Brisbane? We don't want it. We don't care if it gets lost in the mail. We don't want it. Just get rid of it."
Brisbane and Townsville. You don't have to go to either place.
No, that's true. So it's been a big year for Queensland in the rugby league. Titans have proven that they are now the top side in Queensland.
Yep.
As I said in the live show yesterday, the Titans end up with having won more games this year than the Cowboys and the Broncos combined.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible, hey?
So, I think if Nick Livermore, who we had on as guest, who was running the Brisbane Bombers, if he wants any chances of getting his bid up, he might have to move to the Gold Coast.
You reckon? Why's that?
Well, Brisbane's struggling to survive with the one team it has.
Mm-hmm.
Gold Coast is where all the action's at the moment. So they might as well just put another team on the Gold Coast.
Did you see that news during the week where they were saying the Redcliffe Dolphins have $100 million in assets? I
have seen that the Redcliffe Dolphins are getting a bit of traction in the media.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because I was thinking, like, hey, they got $100 million in assets. That doesn't mean anything unless you sell them assets.
That's correct. And I wonder if their home ground is part of those assets.
Well, they were saying, and this is funny, anytime, I don't know why it is, but in Australian Rugby League media, which is a bunch of fucking alcoholic sociopaths, and I'm not picking anyone out in particular. I'm just blanking at everyone with that statement.
Yeah. It's a generalisation.
Well,
and a safe one.
yeah. But they mix up the word boutique with stadium is way too small. It's like it's a boutique stadium of 11,000. It's like, that's not an NRL stadium. That's the fucking St. Mary's Saints have a big stadium than that, you dickheads. That's not boutique. That's not what boutique means.
Yeah, even Wagga realised that Eric Weisel Oval wasn't big enough, and I think he could hold 12,000.
Yeah. Fucking boutique.
Boutique, eh? How very cheek of them.
There's nothing in Queensland's boutique at all.
No. So yeah, that's interesting news.
Yeah,
I guess that'll go quite pretty soon.
You know what? I feel as though it's going to go the opposite way. I feel as though out of the blue, a team is going to be put on in Brisbane. I feel like we'll wake up one day and fucking Mr. Golden Dick Peter V'landys with his fucking horse race. One day we're just going to wake up and it's like, oh yeah, we gave the second Brisbane team license to ABC and they're going to be in next year. I think it's going to happen like that.
What's funny is that I remember before V'landys came in that was probably the sort of leadership you would have liked to have seen at some stage. Remember you were talking about how you said all along that what rugby league needs is a dictator.
Hey, this isn't about me, Andrew.
And no, hear me out. Okay. I would have been in the same mode of thinking as you on that.
Yeah.
And I've now come to realise that maybe that's not what we want.
Well, I'm going to put my hand up here, right? That's what John Hopewadi said. When I said that rugby league needed a dictator, I really kind of meant me.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like when people say, you hear some people that think they're educated, they say, oh, Marxism's a pretty good system if you look into it. And it's like, oh, really? Has it ever worked? And they go, no. But with the right person in charge, I think it could. What they really mean is them. They really
Exactly right.
Yeah, they mean that, like, if I was the fucking dictator in charge. And so I guess what I meant is when Rugby League needs a dictator, it needs to be me in charge. I didn't think that we'd get someone in charge that, you know, couldn't pronounce the fucking sport, for starters. Second of all, wanted tribalism back, whatever the fuck that means. And third, just fucking made up rules every second week.
What rule would you come in that was just absolutely fucking nuts?
A crazy rule.
Yeah. That makes no sense, doesn't have any positive value whatsoever, and doesn't really have any real need, purpose, value. Doesn't add anything to the game. You know what I'd bring in?
What?
I'd change the tackle order around so the fifth tackle's got to be at the third.
So to go 1, 2, 3, 5. No, 1, 2, 5.
Yeah, 1, 2, 5, 3, 4.
Okay.
You got to kick on the third every time, and then you can get the ball back and you get 2 more tackles. It's nonsense, and it would completely fuck the game up. But we need more kicks in the game.
You know what I would do? I would bring Laurie Daly in and say, Laurie, tell me more about these forward passes on the fifth tackle you've talked about for 20 years. And just entertain him on it, and then send him away and let him talk about it in the media, and then come out and say, I'm making a big rule change. And when somebody says, is this about Laurie Daly's rule change? I'll be like, fuck no. Fucking stupid idea.
You know what I'd do?
What?
I'd send a letter to Andrew Johns and say, mate, give me your 3 best ideas. I'm going to make them law.
Oh, shit. What would be a ridiculous rule change you could bring in, though, that, like, people were, like, aghast at?
11 aside.
Yeah.
12-man scrums.
Yep. Yeah, so you've got to bring on an extra player.
Yeah, just have the scrum.
Yeah.
And what's something else you could probably do? Unlimited interchange.
What if
unlimited interchange, but you can only have one bench player?
How about this? Instead of the goalposts looking how they do now, which is a giant H, right? You get it so that they go from the crossbar, they go up 10 meters, and then they go towards each other in like a diamond shaped, and you have to kick it through there to get a conversion.
There's an idea.
That would actually be interesting.
Have the goalpost in the shape of an N for an NRL.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There we go. And you can have the crossbar go between the two ends, and if you kick it in the gap between the top part of the pointy part of the N and the crossbar, you can get an extra point. Or you can go for the wider gap on the other side of the N and just get the normal 2 points.
Okay, I got a better idea. What about you have the goalposts, right? But at the part where the two goalposts go up past the crossbar, those parts are moving back and forth it's like you know them clowns that their heads go, but like that's so they go in and out. But you've got a shot clock, right? So you can't wait all the time for them to be wide out. You got to kick it when you kick it, man.
You know what else is actually to go with that?
Yeah.
You get 2 shots. Mm-hmm. Okay, one is a place kick, the other's a field goal. So you do the place kick while you're holding a footy. Yeah. And if you can knock both of them over, the place kick then the field goal, you get 3 points.
I like that. And then
that'll be after every try.
The other thing is too, the opposition team can rush you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. From any direction.
Oh, I've got a better idea. The opposition coach, right?
Can rush you?
What?
Can rush you as well?
No.
You got Trent Barrett coming at you.
I'm thinking paintball gun.
From the stands?
Yeah.
But they're not allowed
not with paintball in. It's full. The paintball gun, instead of having things of paint, it's got like like bear spray in it.
I was going to say
So-
tranquilizer darts.
Imagine
Imagine
that.
you come in to kick, and then you get a tranquilizer dart to the leg, and all of a sudden your leg just stops moving.
They put the same shit in they had in fucking Langland's fucking grand final. Dead in your leg.
Oh man, these are great ideas.
They
I think
really
these
are.
Andrew Johns.
Yeah, Andrew Johns would be like, man, I like these ideas.
Yeah, you know what also they should also do is have the have the sidelines in the in goal wider than they are for the rest of the field of play. Just so that you can allow every player who deserves a try more chance of actually getting that try they deserve.
Imagine if Peter Volandis said, we're changing the in goals, right? So that the corners are rounded off in goal. Just something weird like that and unnecessary.
You know what they should do?
Yeah.
No lines in the in goal.
That's
Just plant the ball down over the line anywhere you like. There's no sideline. There's no dead ball line. You've got that whole bit of grass after the 0 meter line.
Yeah.
You got all that grass there to get the ball down.
I'm just thinking what you get, right? Then you get somewhere like Penrith. So at the southern end of the stadium, you just fucking bulldoze what's there and have like an in-goal area that's like about 50 metres. So Cleary puts the kick up and it's if, you're just scrambling for it, 50 metres in goal. Be great.
Yeah. I mean, everyone will want to play at the SCG then.
Yeah, they would. Roosters would go pretty well.
The Storm will move all their games to the MCG.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. This is actually, let's be honest, okay, there's an agenda here, as there always is with me. I'm full of agendas.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Tigers are intending on having about 17 wingers next year. And if we've got all the wingers parked out on the edges and you've got no sidelines in the in goal, you just put a fucking bomb up in the corner and just let your 17 wingers vie for the ball.
Yeah.
Opposition's got no chance against that. We will win every game.
Yeah, the only time you won't score a try is when Joey Leilua has done something fucking stupid 30 metres back upfield. Which is like only 40% of the time.
Yeah, that'll be every second week. Yeah. See? These are great ideas.
Yeah.
We can go to administration with these ideas. What else has been going on?
Nothing else, eh? That's about it in rugby league. We talked about a lot of stuff last night on the podcast, the live podcast. So if you go to our YouTube page, and not this podcast, obviously, because you'll see that pop up, but the one previous, we did a live one. I think it's tagged as Roosters versus Rabbitohs versus Roosters. Check that out, because we talked a little bit about the Toronto Wolfpack. Talked about the worst. We read out some emails. Talked about the worst team in the NRL, if you picked a play from each team and then one wild card. It was a really good, fun episode, eh?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We had an absolute hoot of a time.
Yeah. We would have uploaded it onto the podcast itself, but we went for like 3 and a bit hours and it became too big to turn into an audio file.
We're not that skilled with technology yet.
Well, our interns aren't anyway.
That's right. We know what we're doing, but the interns...
Yeah, sometimes I wonder why we're not paying them, hey?
Yeah. Are we still paying them?
No, we're not paying them.
Oh, right, I say. That's good.
Yeah.
Are we still feeding them?
No. They're on their own.
Good. I was worried because I did see there was an order come through when I had to buy an extra 16 cans of cat food. I was worried that I had to start feeding those bastards again.
No, that's just for the cat.
Ah, right. I'm going to feed that bastard instead.
Yeah.
Fucking heard me.
So what we're going to do this week, because we know we've got to catch up a lot of episodes for our wonderful listeners, we're going to do a season review of all of the teams in the National Rugby League in 2020. We're going to do a finals preview of week 1. We might also try and do a little history episode, hey?
Yeah, we haven't done one for quite a while, so we might try and squeeze one of those in.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, man, we've also got, with the finals, obviously, got all that coming up. We've also got to do Origin stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there is an international game, I think it might be this weekend. Is it
Really?
Netherlands versus Germany?
All right.
Let me have a look. I'm going to find out what day that's on.
Is that next weekend or like tonight or?
Yeah, I've got to find out where that's on. Bear with me while I look on the International Rugby League website, if I can remember what the website address is.
It wasn't it intrl.sport?
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. Netherlands and Germany named squads for the international. It's going to be played on the 26th of September, which, might be on tonight.
Yeah, it's on tonight.
Where are we going to find that being played? Are there any known players to us on here? Looks like it might be all... Yeah, it's all local players for both sides.
Oh, there you go.
That's
gonna love those.
Oh, no, there's Brad Billsborough from the North Wales Crusaders. He looks like he's the only one that's not playing in Germany.
Did you see the West Wales Raiders, I believe they're called?
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of them. They're the one that had that record score up against them. They signed a former rugby union international during the week.
Yes.
Was it Gavin Henson?
Might have been.
Yeah, let me see, Gavin Henson. And he's like, I think he's like 38. And he said he wanted to give a try of rugby league. And I'm thinking to myself, man, you fucking waited too late, mate. But interesting that he's given it a go.
Yeah, he's not going to last.
You reckon?
I don't think so.
What level do they play at, though? Like, it would be well below A grade level, I would say.
Oh, like he could play at the West Wales Raiders level.
Yeah.
That they are the worst team in third division.
Yeah,
which is the third division is the lowest of the semi-professional divisions. After that, you go into the amateur comps.
I feel as though I could probably do a job at this level as a winger.
Yeah, I could probably do a job at that level as anything.
as a halfback.
Sure, why not?
I mean, good luck to him. I'm not going to bag him because he is giving it a go, but I don't know. I'm just surprised you'd wait until you're 38 and then give it a go. I feel as though if you really wanted to give it a proper try, you'd wait even at late level 32, you know?
Yeah. It's quite a change. I don't know why you do it so late in your athletic career. But yeah, more power to him. Good luck to him. I suppose if he does do good, it's going to be good for the West Wales team. That's
true. And he can join that long line of wonderful things that come out of Wales.
Just jog my memory on that list.
It's Tom Jones. That's it.
Any other actors and actresses?
Mm-mm. Oh, Catherine Zeta-Jones too.
There we go.
Which we talked about. Did we talk about her? We talked about her in the live podcast. If you haven't heard what we said on the live podcast, you got to listen because I think we started talking about her in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was go check that out.
Yeah, you'll start listening and you will not stop.
No, that's very true. I'm trying to find these details of this game between Germany and the Netherlands. Surely it's around here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Any idea? Anybody? No? Let's see if it's on Twitter.
Surely
Any
the
ideas?
International Rugby League website should have this information.
Here we go. Live stream. Okay, found it. When's it on?
Oh.
Scheduled for the 27th of September at 12:40. Oh, it's only 25 minutes.
Oh, there we go. Maybe we should do a live podcast about it on YouTube. This will be great for anyone that's listening to this after the fact, hey?
Absolutely. We can do that if you want.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this one up.
All right.
We'll have a look into that.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And yeah, if you do listen to this straight away, there's a fair chance that you'll have probably found out about this game very close to full time.
Yeah. You missed it?
You missed it, so well done. This is why you should be making sure that you always subscribe to all of our channels, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. They're all Virgo Freak Pod. Check us out there, and I'll shut up. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time.